To speak on this item, the majority of council has just determined to reduce your public speaking time from 3 minutes to 2 minutes, which I will tell you is very unusual since you've never come to the council level before on an item. That being said, we can now proceed with, but that's the way it is unless at some point council changes, their mind. But we will start with the presentation, and then we'll go on to the public comment. Member Ashcraft?
And just to be clear, I'm not singling out this particular item because I'm prepared to make that same motion when it comes to 9A. But we have seen in the last couple of meetings that we have tended to go way late, which is also hard on the public. And last time around, some speakers left before their speaker slip was even
So I appreciate that. And so earlier, for those of you that are just joining us, the majority of council, Vice Mayor, Member Ashcraft, and Member Odie supported reducing this public speaker time to 2 minutes per speaker. So it'll be 2 minutes per speaker. And those of you that are having someone cede time to you, the maximum amount of time will be 4 minutes. So you can only have one person, and I'm assuming council agrees with that, the interpretation, 4 minutes maximum. All right.
You is to
I'm sorry, are you doing questions? Because I'm calling for, because she started asking questions. I thought you had another question.
I thought we were discussing this.
Okay, so
you started off as a discussion.
Right,
and
but then she started asking questions, so I was going to let other people ask questions.
You had asked us if there were questions. There were no
Right.
more questions. And we're
No, I have questions. I called on you because I thought you had a question.
I don't have a question. I'm just ready to launch into
it. Okay, and I think, Member Ashcraft, did you have a question?
Well, I do have some about the MOU.
But on this issue, because she had raised this issue of changing this, she started asking questions on this point, so I wanted to give everyone else an opportunity to follow up because staff made some comments. If you had any questions on this.
No, except that I would probably like to hear from the city attorney too, or one of the city attorneys about the logistics.
Deliberation, or are we still asking?
No, if we're
Vice Mayor started asking questions, so I wanted to give everyone else the opportunity.
One of us, he started, or
Okay,
I can
so
go. Can we just keep moving?
No.
Mayor, I think
I allowed her to ask
me.
a question. It's appropriate for to then treat every council member the same.
Appreciate
so
it.
I'm going to let Member Ashcraft in ask a question.
Not just to ask a question in a vacuum, but to have an answer. And I think it would be appropriate to hear from the city attorney or an assistant city attorney on this particular point that the vice mayor raised.
Unless we all don't agree, which we could communicate that before, and then they don't have to spend their time discussing.
Well, all I can say is that there are some issues related to that. I think the city manager mentioned it, as did the planning director, that if we wanted to put the cap in different places, we'd have to be concerned about discriminatory things and everything else. So there's probably a good way we can work things out if necessary, if the council as a majority wants to go that route. We would have to work it out, but it is a little unusual.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor, did that complete your comments?
Yes.
And my apologies, Member Matterson, but I'd already said that Member Odie would go next. Unless you want to go ahead and I'll call on him.
A point of order. I just want to make sure we're deliberating now. And there's certain things that we can and can't do when we deliberate. And one of the things is the council has to have give authorization for other people to speak if we're deliberating. So if we're deliberating, we're deliberating. If we're still asking questions and
okay, so then let me.
Can we get that out of the way before we deliberate?
All right, so did anyone have any, so you're not going to allow anyone to ask any questions?
No,
any council members?
I'm just
okay,
saying
so
we're
then
deliberating.
I'm going to go ahead and let all council members have, because there seems to be a change in the way we usually do this. I let Vice Mayor ask her questions. So if you want all the questions asked now, then I'll go ahead and ask all council members to ask all their questions at this time, instead of taking turns and allowing us to ask our speakers our questions at the same time.
I just want to know if we're deliberating, because also during deliberation, I could put a motion forward. And I just want to make sure I have the ability to do that.
So I'm going to say at this point, we are still having council member questions from all council members then.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Requires 4 affirmative votes. Do we have a fourth?
No.
No. All right, so at this time, all of you that have been sitting here since 7 p.m. and now it's 10:35, we will not be getting to 9A nor 9C tonight. Those will be items that will be continued to the next. We require, our charter requires 4 affirmative votes to be able to hear from all of you tonight. There were 3 council members that supported that. That means it did not pass, in which case we are not allowed now to hear 9A or 9C. So those of you that are here, you may now leave. It'll come back on a future agenda. I don't know the date. I don't know. It'll be more than likely it'll be the next agenda, which will be another meeting, right? And I'm not allowed to have you speak at this time. But that was the motion, and you saw the council members that supported hearing from you tonight. So it will have to be a future. So it's not, so I apologize. That did not reflect my vote, but it's important that, I'm going to call for a short recess at this time then. That you are a facilitator, because I think it actually I think we're all able to communicate well and trying to do it in the evening. I appreciate that suggestion. I think that works well for the public to be able to participate. And I think we could get it done in less time. I think we all work well together, remember, Odie? I don't think we
I
need a
think we do too,
facilitator,
but
so that
I
would
think
be my
facilitator is always
concerns. I think
helpful.
it could slow it down.
But
Is my
am I
only
the one
concern
that
is I'd
thinks
like to
that?
get it done.
Then I'm fine.
So I'm happy to defer to the city manager on how to handle this.
Chime in.
Any
I enjoyed our facilitator last time. I thought he was fine.
member Ashcraft?
I thought it was also useful. I know that the mayor didn't agree, but I thought the majority of us did. But